Everybody knows that cold pizza is the best pizza, and we've got a great way to take it in your packed lunch the next day.
We're going to make homemade pizza with a homemade base, homemade sauce, pepperoni as a filling, but in a slightly different way.
Homemade?
In a sorted way. So to start off with, the dough, we've got plain flour. That's going to go into our machine, and then this is a bread dough, so it needs yeast. We've got dried yeast, warm liquid, 170 ml, but if you want all the quantities, you can get them down below. If you can just whisk that in with a fork, a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, and a generous crack of salt. And then that can all go into the machine. Clamp it down, switch it on, and let it all knead away. Of course, you can do this by hand in a bowl or a board, but you need to give it a good sort of 5 or 10 minutes work so you get a nice elastic dough.
Okay.
In the meantime, we can make
we have a machine.
In the meantime, we can make ourselves a tomato sauce.
Yep. With
very simple ingredients: 2 big cloves of garlic, bunch of fresh basil, and a tin of passata. So 3 ingredients. And if you're going to make tomato sauce, you might as well make a big batch.
Yeah.
And then use the leftover in lots of other recipes, like our tomato sauce rollover.
Yep.
Head to the website, you can see loads of options to use up the leftover sauce. Now, this is super noisy.
It is a bit,
but
I can't hear myself talk.
See what we're looking at. It comes together into one elastic dough. That's only had not even a minute of kneading. It needs a lot longer. But at that point, you can put it into a bowl, cover it with cling film, and leave it in a warm place for an hour, or in the fridge overnight to prove.
Okay.
Okay, and then you end up with perfect dough. In the meantime, we can finish off our tomato sauce. So, generous tablespoon or so of olive oil, garlic in there.
Yep.
And that just needs a few seconds to soften before we add in all of that passata. You don't want the garlic to burn, so that can all go in there.
But what is the difference between canned tomatoes and passata?
Very little sieving.
Oh, is that all?
So passata is sieved tomato.
Right.
Canned tomatoes can be with whole tomatoes, with chopped tomatoes, or you can just get tomato juice. Last ingredient to add in here, basil. That can go in there as well. Plenty of black pepper, and that's it. Let that bubble for about 5 minutes, just to infuse all the flavours. Then let it cool. Don't forget our dough needs another hour of room temperature to prove, and then we can move on to the next stage of our pizza. Look at that dough now, really much stickier. And this is where you can start to make proper pizza and fling them about and all that kind of stuff, because you've got that amazing elasticy dough. That's exactly what we want. For now,
Does that help?
What?
You know when you see them in Italian restaurants, and mainly in movies actually, doing the whole swirling around the finger, throwing it up in it, does it help, or is it just for show?
Yes, you're stretching out the dough, and that saves in rolling it, so you can just basically spin it and let gravity do its thing, and it will stretch out and do all that. But we're going to keep it easy, because people at home want it easy, so we're just going to roll it out. So a little bit of a floured surface, and roll it out nice and thin. If you can do that,
Yep.
And actually, because it's bread and so elasticy, one thing I'll show you, if you do that, it's just going to bounce straight back.
Yep.
So you have to kind of hold and roll together, and you're literally stretching it right out. Nice and thin, and trying to get it to a rectangle rather than a circle. We need that for our roll. Meanwhile, I'm going to take some pepperoni and just slice these up. So just very thin slices of cured meat. Use whatever you like, whatever you want your pizza.
What is your favourite pizza topping?
Pepperoni's up there actually,
Yeah?
but I like fresh at the end. So finish it with some fresh rocket as
Yeah.
it comes out of the oven, something like that.
One of the favourites my fiance always goes for is she picks the vegetarian option, which is goat's cheese and caramelised onion,
Nice.
and then gets them to chuck on some pepperoni and chorizo on at the end.
Perfect.
So I have the vegetarian
like her
one
style.
with meat.
I like her style.
Good.
So long as that's not stuck, it's looking good. Look at how elastic that is now.
Yeah.
It's amazing pizza dough, just because we're giving the yeast time to do its thing. What we'll do is take it a little bit wider. Now for our tomato sauce.
Yum.
Dump that down, and if you can just kind of spread that out all over. The important thing here is because we're going to roll it up, everything needs to be evenly distributed, okay? So cheese next, right to the edge and all over. Loads of cheese, and we're using pecorino, which is quite a strong cheese. Awesome, I think I'm happy with that.
Good.
Next up, our pepperoni. Again, we're just going to scatter that all the way along. This is where I think the cool twist comes in. We're going to start to roll it up. First one's always a bit messy. But it's a little bit like a cinnamon bun, but a savoury version. Okay, so it's a savoury dough with a savoury filling.
This isn't the first pizza we've done either, is it?
No, lots of versions of pizza.
So we did the main pizza, like a big massive one for a party, and then we did naan bread pizza, which was awesome, And then we also did a polenta pizza, which had a polenta base, which was really different.
Very
From
different.
anything we've done before. And then we also did something else. What was the other one we did?
One with a white sauce instead of tomato sauce in our skill video.
Bechamel sauce. So if you're allergic to tomatoes or anything like that, you don't want a tomato sauce, but a white sauce.
And then just cut them into slices. We've got a pizza tray, and now these are quite tacky. A little bit more flour on the table might make it easier for you, but once they're baked, no one knows.
Oh, and then you bake them standing
And
up?
you bake them standing up on their end.
Oh, nice.
And you can get loads of them, and they're really tasty little morsels. They can go in a packed lunch. You can use them as little canapé ideas.
That'd be brilliant as a canapé, wouldn't it? Or as a little starter or something.
Yeah.
Pizza starter, followed by pizza for main course, and then a calzone to finish.
We've never done sweet pizza, actually. Maybe that's one we should add to the list.
Sweet pizza.
Who wants to see sweet pizza?
Who wants
Yes
to see
or no?
sweet pizza?
Like for yes, nothing for no. See, loads you can get out of one batch. We've got enough dough to roll in a whole nother one again, same with tomato sauce and filling, so you can make loads of these out of one batch.
You can either invite 10 people round for a canapé party or 3 really greedy people.
Some of these will look more swirly than others. Beauty of home cooking. I think they can look absolutely amazing. They go into an oven, 200 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes until the bread cooks all the way through.
Is that one all right?
That's your one. And there we go. Once they've baked, we give them a little while to cool down, and now we can just transfer them to our little picnic tray. Let's put the slightly mushed up ones on the bottom.
I was going to say what I like is that they're not all uniform.
No, which makes them homemade.
It does make them rustic.
But what is also good is how amazing they taste. Pepperoni, pizza swirls, perfect for a packed lunch, sorted.
Can't wait for
Dig
this.
in.
That's a little mini pizza. That's exactly what it is.
It's easy to hold without getting greasy fingers, because that's the worst part of pizza, let's be honest.
That pepperoni's got a little bit of a spice to it.
Nice kick.
You have to have another one.
Well, they're perfect size, you can keep going back for more.
I think I will.
Homemade bread, can't beat it.
Now, we don't just have recipes on our website, we also have loads of other foodie content, so make sure you follow us on Twitter and we will tell you about it every single day.